Neilson versus Ange, Hearts versus Celtic. The rivalry continues. Welcome back, guys, to Son of Scotland TV. We're just one day away from the big anticipated match at TYNECASTLE with Hearts versus Celtic, but it appears that the managers have been talking trash about each other again, and you have the feeling that these two just don't really see eye to eye. They don't really seem to get along. And I feel like since Ange came to Scotland and he's been the Celtic manager, I don't really feel like he had much of a rivalry connection. You know, he didn't really have much conflict with Steven Gerrard, and now he hasn't really had anything to do with Gio Fran Bronckhorst. But from the start, it's been like Celtic versus Hearts seems to be the biggest rivalry, in my opinion, this season in Scottish football, and it continues tomorrow, but it's actually continuing right now. It seems like the managers are in another world war of words, as you may want to call it. So, since the last time these two teams played, Celtic were gifted a 1-0 win, and I say gifted because Kyogo Furuhashi was offside. He was 100% offside. Now, it was close. I'm not saying it was a mile offside, but still, he was offside. The correct decision would have been to have disallowed his goal. It didn't happen. Celtic got the 1-0 lead and they went on to win that match 1-0. There was another couple of controversial decisions in that game, in my opinion, but the main one was the Kyogo goal that shouldn't have been a goal. And we all know Neilson wasn't happy about it. Neilson speaks his mind. Neilson is always going to tell the officials, the referees, what he thinks about their bad calls. And that's what I love about the guy. I want him to be like, I don't want Neilson to change. Last time out, though, in that match, he came out and said, and I quote, "That's the galling thing. They work so hard, we get in the game with good chances, and then they don't get the right decision, and we have to take the consequences," unquote. That's what he said when he was talking about the decision, and he's essentially right, because the referee did cost us that game. Now, Ange Postecoglou, at the time when he was asked about it, he was told that Neilson thought Kyogo was offside. He responded, "Well, that means the referee is on 3 points. I mean, he's still bottom of the table, isn't he?" So that's what his response was when Neilson obviously thought that the referee had, beaten Hearts. Then he was asked if he can understand his frustration. This is a massive game. Postecoglou said, "No, I can't. If anyone thinks the referee decided that game, they're watching a different game than I am." And then he was told, I think he meant that it was a key decision, to which Ange Postecoglou replied, "Well, there was plenty of key decisions in the game. What I said was that we probably should have won by more, and that's my analyst. He has his analyst. He can communicate it the way he wants, but I'm communicating the way I want, so that's my view on it." First off, I've got to say, that is a retarded logic there for Ange Postecoglou. So he seems to think that just because Celtic were the better team, that they should have won. He says, no, if anyone thinks the referee decided that game, they're watching a different game than I am. Well, let's look at the facts. Celtic won 1-0, and the goal that they won 1-0 from was offside, but it was given as an onside goal. So, just looking at it from that perspective, how did the referee not decide the game? Because there was only one goal in the game, and the goal was given by the referee / linesman / officials, and it shouldn't have been given, but it was given. So how have they not decided the game? That makes absolute zero sense to me. Ange Postecoglou's talking about, he just thinks because Celtic were the better team that he thinks Celtic dominated, and they kind of did first half, but second half they didn't. It was an even game second half. But he seems to think because Celtic created more chances that the referee didn't decide the game. Well, newsflash, Ange, he only scored one goal, and the goal that he did score shouldn't have counted because it was offside. So the referees did decide the game. It's no fucking rocket science here. The referees decided that game, and I remember at the time, I was watching Ryan 118, and they turned around and says that Ange was dead on here, and Neilson's crying, and that Celtic deserved to win, so they don't know why Robbie Neilson's complaining. What logic does that make? I mean, 9 times out of 10, the better, bigger team, the team with the better players, the team with the more finance, are going to, play better and they're going to be the better team. So does that mean that all the big teams should just be awarded wins because they're the better team, because they've got the better players? No. It's all about putting the ball in the back of the net, and Celtic didn't do that fairly in the last game. It's as simple as that. And then they also went on to say, Ryan 118 went on to say that if Celtic didn't score that goal, he thinks Celtic would have went. If they didn't get the offside Kyogo goal, he thinks Celtic would have went on to win 3 or 4-0. I mean, how do you come to that logic? You couldn't go and win 3 or 4-0 when you were gifted a goal that shouldn't have been a goal. Yet you think at 0-0, you would have went on to win 3 or 4-0. Where's the logic in that? There isn't any logic. It's absolute nonsense, right? It's absolute nonsense. Yes, Celtic were the better team last time out. Second half, it was a good game. Hearts got into it. It could have went either way. Both teams had good chances to score in the second half. But the Celtic goal was offside. You take that goal away, guys, it's 0-0. Now, goals do change games, but at the moment, with only one goal, the goal shouldn't have counted. It makes it 0-0. It really is that simple. But it seems like Robbie Neilson isn't just leaving it at that. He's been on to say more things about Celtic today. He went on to say, and I quote, "They have a huge squad and resources where they can buy players for 4 and 5 million. We have to try and find gems in the market and then try to keep them together. We are trying to keep continuity? What the fuck? We keep continuity within the group, and we have managed to get the majority of our out-of-contract players signed up. We have 1 or 2 more who wants to keep as well. We are getting closer, but there's still a long way to go. Celtic probably have 30 top players. We run with a squad of about 16. If we have a number of injuries, it makes it difficult, but Celtic can bring in a number of good players. If Abada goes out, Forrest comes in, and they don't change formation. We just work towards that. We deal with whoever turns up on the night," unquote. I like how he mentioned the majority of our out-of-player contracts signed up, apart from that traitor bastard John Souttar, but I'm not going to rant about him in this video. And then Ange replied with, I quote, "Big squads only work when everyone is available. There is no manager who will tell you they want a big squad because they want to be able to call on players because of absences. They want a big squad to use that squad to the maximum effect on a consistent basis. The reality of it is we haven't been able to. We've had to play players repeatedly, and it's why we struggled in the first half of the year with having a settled team. The workload fell on too few, so hopefully moving forward that situation improves and we can navigate the fixture schedule, which you also have to note. Our fixture schedule is a little bit different from other clubs, so the other managers commenting on the squad I've got and so forth need to take into account the bigger picture," unquote. I think Ange means by that they have a bigger squad because there are more competitions like European football, and that's why he's got the bigger squads. But I mean, overall, I don't think Neilson was wrong last time. I don't know why he's talking about Celtic this time. People are saying that maybe he's a little bit obsessed. I honestly don't get that logic. Just because you support one team doesn't mean you can't have an opinion on another team or you can't watch another team. I don't understand that. Like, shouldn't you care about what your rivals are doing? Like, I'm not saying you support your rivals, but shouldn't you care about your rivals in a sense that you care about what they're doing? It's like, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Like, I don't think it's obsession. I think it's perfectly normal to talk about your rivals and to keep an eye on your rivals and to see what they're doing. If you're in a title fight, wouldn't you keep an eye to see if your rivals, if they're going to win, if they're going to pick up 3 points, if they're going to drop points? To me, all that stuff makes sense. But the war of words continue between Robbie Neilson and Ange Postecoglou. I'm looking forward to the game, guys. I really hope we get something out of this. Not only would it be a great result, but we can also dent Celtic's title hopes if we get something from this. Souttar is expected to play, but it might just be his last game in a maroon jersey, and I've got no issues with that. I wish he'd already played his last game, but I do think he will start against Celtic, and then Rangers have a short, limited time where they can snap him up. But maybe that's Rangers' plan. Maybe they want to leave it until this game because they think Souttar could play a big part in Hearts getting a result against Celtic. That could be what Rangers are thinking, or maybe it's just a coincidence. Who knows, guys? I will make a video if any more news develops on the whole John Souttar Rangers transfer saga. But at the moment, that is it. I will do a match preview later on for this Hearts versus Celtic game. Looking forward to it. And obviously, you'll get your review tomorrow night after the game. Going to be buzzing. Hopefully we pick up the result. But for now, it's Ange versus Neilson. But tomorrow on the pitch, it will be Celtic versus Hearts. Looking forward to it, guys. But anyway, till next time, that's it. Leave me your comments down below. Do you think Neilson's obsessed with Celtic? Do you think Neilson was right to complain? I certainly don't think Neilson's in the wrong. I think he's dead on. The referees did decide the game. Ange says that if you think the referee decided that game, you're watching a different game. But for me, the referee clearly decided it. One goal was given. It was offside. For me, you know, that's about deciding it as much as you can. So yeah, don't know what Ange is talking about. Don't know what all these delusional Celtic fans are talking about. But we all know the old firm guys. They all get decisions. Celtic will probably get 10 penalties tomorrow. We know what's happening. Just need to make sure we don't go near anybody. Anybody comes into the box and keep your 2 metres distance, and that way we might avoid giving away a penalty. But that's it, guys. Till next time, make sure you leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below. And peace.